Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your July 16th to the 31st, 2021 reading for you. Now, if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aquarius. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aquarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. Aquarius. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aquarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly. Excuse me. Aquarius. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aquarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Okay. Aquarius. July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aquarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the King of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and the Six of Pentacles. Things need to be balanced. There can be an issue, not an issue so much of somebody not balancing their money the way that you would like them to, or a thing around prosperity during this time. You're very prosperous, Aquarius, but there is this sense of like, there's just a bit of sneaky work, okay? We have the Ten of Wands and the Three of Cups. Carrying a load that is too heavy, and with the Three of Cups, it is that person that should have been celebrating us that couldn't. And so in our inner selves, we're like releasing that load, that sense of, you get to have this power over me because of this hurt and this pain that I carry. And now I get to see the sun and see the beauty that is around me and embrace those who have stood by me. We have the King of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And we have the Ten of Cups, and they all live happily ever after as we embrace our passion, but also as we start to let passion be a part of us, which sounds interesting to say, because the passion that gets to be a part of us is us accepting this power, this beauty, this brilliance that is the reason why we're on this earth. And it's like, I accept me, and that leads us to our happily ever after, however that is formed within our world. It brings us to the High Priestess and to the Moon. So the High Priestess is the veil being lifted from our eyes in the public arena. And the Moon is us facing our fears. But this is also Pisces energy. So if you're born on the cusp with Pisces, or you have Pisces within your chart, that's going to be coming through quite profoundly. Just as if you have earth sign energy or fire sign energy within your natal chart, that's going to be coming through profoundly also. There is this sense of, I'm walking forward on a path that I didn't think I would walk, in a place that I had been, in a way that I had been afraid to tread. And now I get to embrace my abundance and who I am more and more and more each day. There is going to be this kind of like unveiling. It's almost going to be, I'm just seeing like an artichoke. If you've ever eaten artichokes, or maybe like peeling an onion, or, you know, whatever has layers on it. But it's like, as you get to the center, you know, it gets more delicious. And that's going to be what's going on here. Let's look at our chakra energy. Aquarius, July 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aquarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Oh, we have 3. Okay, intense. 2 throat chakras, the blue, and 1 sacral chakra, which is the orange. So we have with the throat chakra, we have truth and communication. During this time, we want people to communicate the truth. And this is going to be a time where we ourselves communicate the truth. So with communication coming forward, we're going to be picking up on everything that everybody else misses. This means that our conversations aren't just, you know, oh, I'm talking, you know, that's great. It's going to be, we see the in-between. We see in between the words. And that's going to be where the power is. That's like where everything is said, is in between the words, in the energy, in the inclinations, in the power that is given off. And that leads us to our truth. So during this time, when we have conversations with people, expect to come out of it maybe feeling a bit drained, or, you know, feeling like, wow, so much more happened there than just the conversation, whereas that person might not feel the same way because they think, oh, I'm just talking. And you are seeing into them in a way that actually could make them feel uncomfortable. You might find that people might avoid talking to you because you see too much. And the truth here, it's like, I'm embracing the truth. I'm embracing my truth, the way I see my world, the way I'm moving forward. And there's a power to that. And it strengthens our relationships, but it's also calling us to our sacral chakra, which is one of my favorite chakras because it is so complex. And our sacral chakra is all our blessings, right? It is our creative energy. It is our sexual energy. It is the power that we like kind of embrace the world with. But it is also where all our trauma drama from this life and from past lives come forward. So when we're embracing this time and when we're looking at our relationships and what we have to understand is that we carry the weight of history with us. And that doesn't mean that we are reliving history. But what that means is that we are our past selves. We are our hurts and our pains. And that is going to be a part of us during this time that we need to embrace. And we need to embrace the relationship that we have with our world, with the way that we see the world, with the way that we embrace our love and our joy and our hurts and our pains and everything in between, and the way that we call forward our power. And that starts to strengthen our relationships for us to be able to embrace the erotic, beautiful side of life and existence. Not in a sexual way, but in a way of discovery and joy and wonderment, in a way that opens up the door. And now let's see our energy to be mindful of. What is the energy that Aquarius is to be mindful of? July 16th to 31st, 2021, Aquarius. What is the energy that Aquarius needs to be mindful of? Angels and spirit guides. Ooh. It's a death card, Scorpio energy. But this is also sneakiness. We're going to be really genuine during this time. At least in the moment that we say things, we truly believe them. We're really moving forward in that energy, in that space. We're feeling the energy of people and of ourselves, which means that we're really connected. And this is going to be a time where we're going to find that some people just aren't as connected as we want them to be. Or that there's sneakiness, there's lies, there's hurts, there's pains. And these are people who try to pull us into their web. Not people who kind of, step back and say, okay, I have to deal with this before I can do anything else. But these are going to be people who are sneaky, who lie, who hurt, who are just, they're just too much. And this is going to be a time where we need to embrace our truth in our communications, because you're going to see during this time, Aquarius, that your relationships are strengthened. And that the bonds that are made during this time, are like the revelations that are had, open up the eyes in a way that you hadn't realized they needed to be opened. And it brings you to this place of prosperity. Now, people are going to try and be sneaky around this. are going to try and say, well, you can't have this. But here, with the King of Pentacles, this is wealth and this is prosperity, and this is being able to embrace that wealth and prosperity. We also have to be very mindful, though, of people in our lives who boil everything down to this is how much it's worth. Because during this time, we're going to be looking at money and at things in a very different way. We're going to be looking at the quality of everything, not just the quantity. And it's not saying, oh, I'd rather have like a really nicely made piece than, 5 not so nicely made pieces. That's somebody's preference, right? But there is the sense of, there's almost a sense of bragging that is around this person. It's like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And it's like, okay, enough. Enough is enough. Step back and look within you instead of everybody having to look at you. And that's where wealth lies. And so during this time, you're not going to be braggadocious. There's going to be this need to say, what is the quality? What is the quality of everything that is around me? What is the quality of my existence? And then the calling on the balancing. Now, this could be the balance of a work-home life. This could be a sense of looking at people and saying, your hands are always out. And I'm always giving and you are always taking. And this can even be a realization like I'm always taking and they're always giving. In certain areas, I need to make this fair. And it can be small areas like, oh my gosh, this person always washes the dishes. They always cook the meals. I can do that. I can, take on some of that responsibility if that's, if that resonates with you. But there is the sense of balance needed. And the Six of Pentacles calls for balance. It calls for justice. It calls for discernment. And that's what's coming forward. This is my minor arcana, Libra energy, justice card. So this is a sense of having that energy needing to be balanced and needing to walk forward in prosperity, in wealth that maybe others don't see, but it's part of your truth. It is part of your story and your beauty. And so it is nurtured and it is held. And there's also the sacred masculine energy around you that is the sense of, I am proud of what I have accomplished. But there's a difference of being proud and being pompous. So that is going to be very important. And that's also going to be something that you see with people during this time. It's like there's a difference between being proud and being pompous. And it moves us to the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands is having so many burdens on our shoulders, trying to do everything for everybody else. And also having it not work out the way that you want them to. It's almost, I just saw like breadsticks. And I know that sounds very funny, but when the breadsticks are too hot and you stand them up, they smush, they don't form the way that you want them to. You have to lay them out. And this is going to be a time where you're rushing so much and you want to get so much done that it's like the breadstick just starts to plop down in on itself. And so this is going to be the time for you here, Aquarius, to say, okay, if I want something done, I need to take my time and I need to do it right. But I also need to get it done. And so there's going to be this rhythm that you start to acquire during this time. And there's going to be a need for a rhythm, for a pattern. It could be a schedule, but it doesn't have to be. It can simply be that I'm not overworking myself to the point of that I can't call to the quality of things, that I can't call to, that it doesn't turn out the way that I wanted because I'm spread so thin. And this is going to be something that we have to be mindful of during this time. And also, we have to let others carry their burdens, carry their hopes and their dreams and their wishes and their fears and their hurts. And it moves us to the Three of Cups. It's like as we start to say, this is the rhythm of things. This is how things need to be developed and gone through and held onto during this time for me. We start to also look at the people who have made us think that we just have to carry everything. And again, the Three of Cups always for me is that person who is supposed to be there. They're supposed to be there. They're supposed to be on our side. They could be a lover, a parent, a caregiver, whomever. They're supposed to be on our side, and they just can't be. We might not even like them at all, and they might not like us. And what we have here is that builds a level of distrust, also abandonment and hurt. And so here we look at that, and we look at that hole that was left, or at least that imprint that was left within us. And we say no more. No more does your inability get to define me. My beauty and my blessings get to define me. My heart and my passion get to define me. And that starts to open up the door, and it brings us to the King of Wands. Now, there can be somebody who's astoundingly passionate that just calls to our hearts. There is this person who, again, we have to be mindful of not falling into, okay, this is how one person is successful, so if I just do everything that person does, I'll be successful. It's like, no, that might work for, XYZ, Joe Schmo, but it doesn't work for me. And I have to be here, and especially during this time, Aquarius, you have to be right for you. You have to call to your strengths and to your loves and to things that make your heart sing. But this is going to be a time where the heart is called to passion. It is called to passion, it is called to creativity, and that starts to open up the door. That starts to really bring you insight and ideas. And so the King of Wands moves us forward in the sense of, oh, I can open up that door. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I've been thinking of. You're going to see inspiration come from sometimes the most unlikely of places, but it's going to bring these ideas forward. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's what I wanted to create, or that's how you tell that story, or oh, those are the words that you need. That's the color that I was looking for to make things come alive. And it's going to be about emotions and feelings, and you're going to kind of talk in that way. It's like, oh my gosh, the energy of that place was just so brilliant. It was so inspiring, or the energy of this. And you're going to find that you're very drawn to energy during this time because you're creating your happily ever after, right? The 10 of Cups is happily ever after. It's happiness and joy. And my happiness and my joy will not be your happiness and your joy. They're always going to be different in just a little tiny way. Even if you have two people who live together and are perfectly happy living together, one person's happiness is going to be slightly different than the other person's happiness, right? And they balance each other out. And so during this time, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the small little ways that we bring happiness into our lives, that we bring healing and joy and wonderment and beauty. And we're going to be really drawn to these things. Our hearts want them. And if our hearts are happy, rummaging through thrift shops or, taking long walks and going on, little tiny adventures, that's what we need to follow during this time to open up our hearts and our souls to it. Now, with the High Priestess, the veil is being lifted from our eyes. In the public arena, we're not seeing what everybody wants us to see. We're seeing things more truthfully. And that can be a little bit scarring because it's like, wow, I thought it was just like this, but it's not. And so with the High Priestess, we start to see things in a very different light. We start to see ourselves in a very different light. We open up our realization. And this also says to us, who is it that you want to be? Because we look at ourselves and we start to call ourselves out on things that we're not doing right for us. And this is a time where we can kind of feel like we're going along with the herd. And this is a time where we want to just like break out and dance. We just want to be ourselves and to be different and to be the, I'm getting tongue-tied here, to embrace our eccentricities. And the High Priestess says the wisdom and the sacredness that is around you, that is within you, that is an eccentricity that gets to shine, that gets to show. And the High Priestess calls us to that. It calls us to the sacred within us. It calls us to the sacred of this earth and of ourselves. And it moves us then to the moon. And the moon is going to be very important. We might find that we do some of our best work at night. We might find that we are inspired and need to keep like a little journal of just ideas around us. That we need to meditate at night just to get our mind flowing in harmony with our creative energy. The moon calls us to face our fears, to look at our fears openly and honestly. But it also calls us forward to beauty that is hidden within darkness, to the light that guides us forward, to the heart and the soul and the passion and the brilliance of it all. And this is a time where we're tested in the public arena, especially in the public arena, when we start to see that all that glitters isn't gold, when we start to see things, as they are and not as we want them to be. And then the question is, can you still follow the dreams? Can you still move forward towards what you love and what you want and what is an intrinsic part of the heart and the self? And it moves us then to our subconscious chakra message, which is visualization, the third eye chakra. When you visualize, it isn't saying that what you visualize will become true. What it is saying is that, instantaneously, what you visualize will become true instantaneously. That's not what visualization is about. When we open up our third eye chakra and we start to visualize, it's saying, I'm making that pathway within my brain to let me be that success that I want to be. And it calls out the fears and the hurts and the pains that I have. But it also brings me closer to that piece of the story that needs to be told. And it brings us then to our subconscious energy that we need to be mindful of, and that's the moon. So it's the subconscious and unconscious self of part of ourselves. It is the fear that we need to be mindful of. It is people who fear monger, who pull up these fears, who say, oh my gosh, shouldn't you be terrified about this and that? And, why aren't you, worried? And saying, no, 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 I'm not falling down that pit of fear, because it's very hard to pull yourself up out of it. So be very mindful of people who are fearmongers, people who assess the situation and can kind of gauge people's weaknesses really easily. It's kind of like that person could be a tremendous healer, could be just a tremendous benefit to society if they assessed people, looked at people and just, gauge their energy, gauge their, everything that they take in, and then went to pull them out of darkness instead of push them deeper in. And this is what we have to be very, very mindful of during this time. It moves us then to our subconscious rooted energy. There's also going to be somebody who inspires you in the public arena, okay? A very spiritual, feminine energy. Doesn't have to be a female, okay? Very spiritual person who might work best at night, who has this way of illuminating things, okay? It then moves us to the Page of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. At our root, there is a sense of I'm a student of my heart, and I am inspired by things that others overlook. It can also be a child that has us looking at things quite differently than we ever looked at them before. Our subconscious inner self. We have the Knight of Wands, fire sign energy. This sense of, fire sign energy is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The sense of I need to move forward towards my goals, this passion, this determination. We're also going to be kind of caught up with somebody who is very, very, very driven, very much like just keep moving, just go after it. And we're going to need to take a little bit of a quieter path. It sounds funny to say that an air sign energy needs to take a quieter path because we are represented by the fastest of the knights, but there is going to be a need for greater understanding, like for the wind to move around it and to move with it instead of us just blazing a path forward through it. Our subconscious emotional energy is the Ten of Swords. Subconsciously, we need to acknowledge and pay homage to all the hurts and the pains that we've been through. And not just say, I'm fine, scrolling through. I love how she's on her phone, 10 swords stabbed into her. And that just rings so true, where it's like, I'm just scrolling because it's all too much and it's a release. And instead of going to sleep or instead of taking care of myself the way that I know I should, I'm just scrolling. We have the repeat of the number 10 within our hearts. So emotionally, because we have the 10 of Cups, which are emotions, and the swords, which are mentally, we have this kind of emotional, spiritual conclusion coming. And we're starting to see why we've been through all the hurts and the pains that we've been through. Things start to make sense, not fully, but there starts to be a reasoning around them. And then we arm ourselves through the pains that we have been through and through the passions that guide us. And this is the darkness before the dawn. So there can be like a little bit of a morose, like wondering about things like, am I doing things the right way? Am I, and just kind of wanting to zone out. And we need to give ourselves that time during this time to zone out, to connect, to just disengage from the go, 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 go. And when we do that, we need to look inward instead of having ourselves be distracted. That's what our heart needs. And our subconscious public arena energy is the Five of Swords, standing victorious with the knowledge that we have gained, with the power that we have gained around us, and not apologizing for it, because it's a battle that we won, and others wouldn't apologize for their win, so why should we? All right, Aquarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the mysteries to come. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aquarius.